Hello, beautiful soul. I want you to know that you are so welcome here today. Right now, in this very moment, you are exactly where you need to be. I understand that you've come here because something inside you is calling for change, calling for a different relationship with money and abundance. Maybe you've been struggling financially, or perhaps you feel like no matter how hard you work, there's always something blocking you from the prosperity you know you deserve. I want you to take a deep breath with me right now because what we're going to explore together has the power to shift everything. You know, I've spent so many years working with people from all walks of life, and one thing I've learned is that our relationship with money is really our relationship with ourselves. When we feel unworthy of love, we often feel unworthy of abundance. When we carry shame or fear, it shows up in our bank accounts just as much as it shows up in our hearts. But here's what I want you to know. You were born worthy of all good things. You were born deserving of prosperity, joy, and abundance in every area of your life. I created this space today as a sanctuary for your heart and your dreams. There's no judgment here, no criticism, no shame about where you've been or what you've experienced. We're not here to analyze every mistake or replay every financial disappointment. We're here to plant new seeds, to water the garden of your consciousness with love and possibility. This is about remembering who you really are beneath all the stories you've been told about money and worth. What I'm going to share with you today is simple yet profound. It's a practice that, when done with love and consistency, can begin to unlock doors you didn't even know existed. I'm talking about something you can do 4 times a day that costs you nothing but has the potential to change everything. This isn't about complicated formulas or strategies that only work for certain people. This is about aligning your heart, your mind, and your spirit with the natural flow of abundance that surrounds us all. I want you to feel safe here, safe to hope again, safe to believe that things can be different, safe to open your heart to possibilities you may have closed off long ago. Because what we're going to do together isn't just about changing your financial situation, though that will happen. It's about healing the deep places inside you that have felt separate from abundance, that have felt undeserving of the good that life wants to give you. The beautiful truth is that abundance is your natural state. You don't have to earn it or prove you're worthy of it. You just have to remember it and allow it. And sometimes that remembering begins with something as simple as changing the words we speak to ourselves each day. Words have power, dear one. They shape our reality in ways that go far beyond what most people understand. When we begin to speak new words, we begin to create new experiences. So let's begin this journey together with an open heart and a willingness to see things differently. Let's allow ourselves to believe that miracles are not only possible, but are actually quite natural when we align ourselves with love instead of fear. Your prosperity journey starts now, in this moment, with this choice to be here and to be open to transformation. Now let's talk about your money story, because everyone has one. From the time we were very small, we absorbed messages about money like little sponges. We watched how the adults in our lives talked about money, how they felt about it, how they struggled with it or celebrated it. We picked up their fears, their limitations, their beliefs about what was possible for people like us. And then we made these inherited beliefs our own, often without even realizing it. Think about the messages that floated around your childhood home. Maybe you heard things like, money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that, or rich people are greedy. Perhaps there were whispered conversations about bills, stress-filled arguments about spending, or a general sense that money was scarce and had to be hoarded or feared. Or maybe money was never talked about at all, creating a mysterious energy around it that felt uncomfortable or forbidden. These early experiences created what I like to call our money blueprint, the unconscious set of beliefs and patterns that govern how we relate to abundance. For some, this blueprint says money is hard to come by and even harder to keep. For others, it whispers that wanting money makes you selfish or that good people shouldn't care about material things. And for many, the blueprint carries the heavy message that there's just not enough to go around. The fascinating thing about these inherited beliefs is that they often have nothing to do with our actual capabilities or the real opportunities available to us. A brilliant, talented person might unconsciously sabotage their success because deep down they absorb the message that people from their background don't get to have financial freedom. Someone with incredible gifts to offer the world might undercharge for their services because they learned that asking for money feels uncomfortable or wrong. These patterns show up in so many ways. There's the person who works incredibly hard but never seems to get ahead, always hitting invisible barriers just as success comes within reach. There's the one who's terrified to invest in their dreams because they learned that spending money on yourself is selfish. There's the individual who pushes abundance away the moment it arrives, unconsciously believing they don't deserve to keep it. Sometimes our money story includes beliefs about what having money would mean about us as people. We might fear that prosperity would make us lose our humility, our connection to others, our spiritual values. We might worry that if we had more, others would have less, or that people would judge us or expect things from us that we're not ready to give. The beautiful thing about recognizing these patterns is that awareness is the first step toward freedom. When we can see that our current financial situation might be reflecting old programming rather than current truth, we can begin to choose differently. We can start to question whether these inherited beliefs actually serve us, whether they're even true, and whether we want to continue carrying them forward. What's so important to understand is that these beliefs feel true because we've been living them for so long. Our subconscious mind has been dutifully creating experiences that match what it thinks we believe about money and worthiness. But here's the empowering truth. We can change these beliefs. We can rewrite our money story. We can choose new thoughts and over time, create new experiences that reflect abundance instead of lack. The stories we tell ourselves about money aren't just mental concepts. They create our emotional reality and even affect our physical well-being. When we live in constant worry about finances, when we operate from a place of scarcity and fear, our bodies respond as if we're under threat. The stress response that gets triggered when we think about money affects every system in our being. Our shoulders tighten when we look at bills. Our breathing becomes shallow when we think about the future. Our stomachs clench when someone mentions investments or large purchases. We might even develop headaches, insomnia, or digestive issues that seem unrelated to money but are actually our body's way of expressing the chronic stress of financial worry. The body doesn't distinguish between being chased by a lion and being chased by debt. It responds to both with the same stress chemicals and physical tension. But here's what's truly amazing. Just as our bodies respond to scarcity thoughts with stress, they can also respond to abundance thoughts with relaxation and openness. When we begin to feel safe around money, when we start to trust that we're provided for, our entire nervous system can shift into a more receptive state. Our breathing deepens, our muscles relax, our digestion improves, and we actually become more available to receive the good that's trying to come to us. Think about how different your body feels when you're worried about money versus when you feel financially secure. When we're in worry mode, we tend to contract physically and energetically. We close off, tighten up, and inadvertently block the very flow we're hoping to create. But when we feel abundant and secure, we naturally expand. We stand taller, breathe easier, and radiate a kind of magnetic energy that draws opportunities and resources toward us. The mind-body connection works both ways, too. We can use our bodies to help shift our mental state around abundance. When we consciously relax our shoulders, deepen our breathing, and soften our facial muscles while thinking about money, we send a signal to our subconscious that it's safe to receive. We're literally training our nervous system to associate thoughts of abundance with feelings of peace and openness. This is why so many people find that their financial situation begins to improve when they start taking better care of their physical well-being. When we nourish our bodies with good food, adequate rest, and gentle movement, we're affirming our worthiness of care and abundance. When we treat ourselves with kindness and respect, we're sending a message to the universe that we're ready to receive more goodness in all forms. The breath is particularly powerful in this process. When we breathe deeply and consciously, especially while focusing on abundance, we're creating space in our bodies for new energy to flow. We're literally making room for prosperity to enter our experience. Shallow, anxious breathing keeps us in survival mode, but deep, intentional breathing opens us to thriving mode. I want you to try something right now. Place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Take a slow, deep breath, and as you do, allow your body to soften. Feel your rib cage expand, your shoulders drop, your jaw relax. As you exhale, imagine releasing any tension or worry you've been carrying about money. With your next breath, imagine drawing in abundance, safety, and peace. Notice how this simple shift in breathing can change how you feel about abundance in just moments. Your body is now becoming your ally in this abundance journey, and this brings us to something very special that I want to share with you. There are certain words, when spoken with love and intention, that have the power to reprogram the deepest levels of our consciousness. What I'm about to give you isn't just an affirmation. It's a key that can unlock doors you didn't even know existed. The words I want you to begin saying 4 times each day are these: money flows to me easily and joyfully, and I welcome all good into my life now. I want you to let these words settle into your heart for a moment. Feel how they sound, how they resonate in your body. This isn't just a pretty phrase, it's a powerful declaration that can begin shifting your entire relationship with abundance. Let me tell you why these particular words are so effective. First, notice that we're talking about money flowing, not struggling or fighting its way to you. Flow is natural, like water moving downstream or breath moving through your lungs. When we use the word flow, we're aligning ourselves with the natural movement of abundance rather than trying to force or control it. We're acknowledging that money, like everything in nature, wants to move and circulate freely. The word easily is crucial because it challenges one of the most common beliefs about money, that it has to be hard to earn or that we have to suffer for it. So many of us learned that anything worthwhile requires struggle, that easy money is somehow suspect or wrong. But abundance is actually meant to be easy. Look at nature. Trees don't struggle to grow, flowers don't strain to bloom, rivers don't fight to reach the ocean. They simply follow their natural flow, and so can your prosperity. Joyfully is perhaps the most transformative word in this affirmation because it connects abundance with positive emotion. Many people have learned to associate money with stress, worry, or guilt. But when we invite money to come joyfully, we're healing that old conditioning. We're saying that it's not only okay to feel good about prosperity, it's actually necessary. Joy is a magnetic emotion. It draws more good things to us naturally. The phrase, "I welcome all good into my life now," expands our receptivity beyond just money. Sometimes abundance comes in forms we don't expect. Opportunities, connections, resources, ideas, or gifts of time and energy. When we welcome all good, we're opening ourselves to receive from multiple channels, and that word "now" is so important because it brings us into present moment awareness, where all transformation actually happens. The power of repetition cannot be overstated. When we repeat something 4 times a day with intention and feeling, we're creating new neural pathways in our brain. We're literally rewiring our consciousness for abundance. The subconscious mind learns through repetition, and it doesn't judge whether what we're repeating is true or false. It simply accepts what we consistently tell it and then works to make that our reality. Scientists have discovered that it takes approximately 21 to 66 days to form a new habit, depending on the complexity of the behavior and the individual. But the beautiful thing about affirmations is that you might start noticing shifts much sooner than that. Some people experience changes in their energy and outlook within just a few days of consistent practice. Others notice that opportunities start appearing more frequently, or that money begins showing up in unexpected ways. What's happening on a deeper level is that you're training your mind to look for abundance rather than lack. You're becoming more aware of the prosperity that's already flowing around you. You're opening yourself to possibilities that were always there, but that you couldn't see when you were focused on limitation. This isn't about magic or wishful thinking. It's about changing the filter through which you perceive and interact with the world. I want you to choose 4 times during your day when you'll speak these words with love and intention. Perhaps when you first wake up, before lunch, in the late afternoon, and before bed. Or maybe during your morning coffee, before important meetings, while taking afternoon walks, and while preparing for sleep. The specific times matter less than the consistency and the feeling you put behind the words. When you speak this affirmation, don't just say the words mechanically. Feel them in your body. Allow yourself to experience what it would feel like if money truly was flowing to you easily and joyfully. Let yourself feel worthy of all good things, even if it feels unfamiliar at first, even if part of you doesn't believe it yet. Speak the words with as much love and intention as you can muster. You're planting seeds in the garden of your consciousness, and seeds need to be tended with care and patience. Now, as we begin this practice together, it's important to acknowledge that there might be parts of you that resist these new ideas. This is completely natural and nothing to worry about. For so long, many of us have carried beliefs that keep abundance at arm's length, and these old patterns don't always give up without a fight. Let's look at some of the most common blocks that might arise, so you can recognize them and gently transform them. One of the biggest barriers to abundance is the belief that money is inherently bad, or that wanting it makes us greedy or materialistic. Perhaps you learned that spiritual people shouldn't care about money, or that focusing on finances somehow diminishes your connection to higher values. But money itself is neutral. It's simply energy, a tool that can be used for tremendous good. When you have abundance, you can support causes you care about, help people you love, and create positive change in the world. Money in the hands of loving, conscious people is actually a blessing for everyone. Another common block is the fear that there's not enough to go around, that if you have more, someone else will have less. This scarcity thinking creates a sense of competition and guilt around abundance. But prosperity doesn't work like a pie where one person's slice makes everyone else's smaller. Abundance is infinite and renewable. When you prosper, you actually contribute to the prosperity of others through your spending, investing, giving, and the inspiration you provide by living freely. Many people carry the limiting belief that they have to work incredibly hard for every dollar, that easy money is somehow undeserved or won't last. This belief often comes from watching family members struggle financially despite working multiple jobs or long hours. But hard work and abundance aren't mutually exclusive. You can work smart instead of just hard. You can be compensated generously for the value you provide. And you can earn money in ways that feel joyful and fulfilling rather than draining. The phrase, "I can't afford it," is something I hear constantly. and it's one of the most powerful abundance blockers there is. Every time we say, "I can't afford it," we're reinforcing the belief that we're separate from abundance. Instead, try saying, "I choose not to purchase this right now," or "I'm prioritizing other things with my money," or even, "How can I afford this?" That last question opens your mind to possibilities instead of closing it down. It invites creative solutions and new sources of income to emerge. Guilt around having money while others don't is another major block. This often shows up as unconscious self-sabotage, just as abundance begins to flow. Someone might start earning more money only to find themselves making poor financial decisions, overspending, or even having unexpected expenses that drain away their prosperity. The subconscious mind is trying to keep them at a financial level that feels safe or appropriate based on old programming. There's also the fear of judgment from others if we become too prosperous. What will family members think if we start living differently? Will friends feel uncomfortable if we have more than they do? Will people expect things from us or treat us differently? These concerns are understandable, but they often keep us playing small to make others comfortable, which doesn't actually serve anyone. Some people block abundance because they don't trust themselves with money. They worry that if they had more, they'd become irresponsible or lose their values. But abundance actually gives us more choices, more opportunities to express our values through our actions. When we're not worried about survival, we can make decisions based on what truly matters to us rather than on fear or desperation. The beautiful thing about recognizing these blocks is that awareness is already the beginning of freedom. You don't have to fight these old beliefs or judge yourself for having them. Simply notice them with compassion when they arise, thank them for trying to protect you, and then gently choose new thoughts. Each time you catch yourself thinking a limiting thought about money, you can consciously replace it with your abundance affirmation or another loving thought. This brings us to something that's absolutely foundational to lasting abundance: your relationship with your own worthiness. All the affirmations and techniques in the world won't create sustained prosperity if, deep down, you don't believe you deserve it. Self-worth is the soil in which abundance grows, and if that soil isn't rich and nourishing, even the best seeds will struggle to take root. So many people have learned to measure their worth by external things: their job title, their bank balance, their achievements, or other people's approval. But your true worth has nothing to do with any of these things. You were born worthy, not because of what you do or have or accomplish, but simply because you exist. You are a unique expression of life itself, and that makes you inherently valuable and deserving of all good things. Think about how you treat something you consider truly precious, maybe a beloved pet, a cherished family heirloom, or a work of art you admire. You handle it with care, you make sure it's safe and protected, you don't expose it to harm needlessly. This is how you deserve to treat yourself, because you are precious beyond measure. Yet so many of us have learned to treat ourselves with criticism, neglect, or harsh judgment that we would never direct towards someone we love. The way we talk to ourselves about money often reflects the way we talk to ourselves about everything. If you find yourself thinking, "I'm terrible with money," or "I always make bad financial decisions," or "I'll never be able to afford what I want," notice that these thoughts aren't just about money. They're about your fundamental beliefs about your own capabilities and worth. One of the most powerful practices you can begin is what I call mirror work. This involves looking into your own eyes in a mirror and speaking words of love and affirmation to yourself. I know this might feel uncomfortable at first. Many people find it easier to criticize themselves than to offer themselves genuine love and encouragement. But this practice can transform your relationship with yourself and, consequently, your relationship with abundance. Start by looking into your eyes in the mirror and saying, "I love you" to yourself, notice what comes up: resistance, discomfort, criticism, or maybe even sadness. All of these responses are normal and nothing to judge. Just keep practicing with patience and gentleness. You might add phrases like, "You are worthy of abundance," or "You deserve all good things," or "Money flows to you easily because you are valuable and worthy." The mirror doesn't lie. It reflects back exactly what you're giving out energetically. If you can't look into your own eyes and speak words of love and worthiness, how can you expect the universe to mirror back abundance and prosperity? But as you practice this consistently, you'll notice that something shifts. You begin to genuinely feel the love and appreciation you're expressing, and this inner transformation naturally reflects in your outer experiences. Your worthiness isn't something you need to earn or prove. It's not dependent on your past mistakes, your current circumstances, or your future achievements. It's a fundamental truth about who you are. When you begin to really feel this in your bones, when you start treating yourself with the love and respect you deserve, abundance becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Because you're no longer trying to get something from outside yourself to make you feel valuable. You already know your value, and prosperity simply becomes another expression of that inner knowing. Now that you understand the profound connection between self-worth and abundance, let's create a sacred structure for your daily practice. Having a ritual around your affirmation work isn't just helpful, it's transformational. When we approach abundance work with reverence and intention, we signal to our subconscious mind that this matters, that we're serious about change, and that we're ready to receive. Your wealth ritual doesn't need to be complicated or time-consuming. In fact, the simpler and more sustainable it is, the more likely you are to maintain it consistently. But it does need to feel special to you, like you're creating a sacred appointment with your highest good. Think of it as 4 daily moments where you step out of ordinary consciousness and into abundance consciousness. The first time you'll speak your affirmation each day, I encourage you to do it as soon as you wake up, before you even get out of bed. This is when your mind is still soft and open, not yet filled with the concerns and distractions of the day. Keep your eyes closed, place your hands on your heart, and speak the words gently. Money flows to me easily and joyfully, and I welcome all good into my life now. Feel the words settling into your being like seeds into fertile soil. You're programming your day for abundance from the very first moments of consciousness. Your second practice might happen during your morning routine, perhaps while you're having your coffee or tea, or while you're getting ready for the day. This time, you might want to look at yourself in the mirror as you speak the words, sending love and abundance intentions directly to yourself. Let yourself feel grateful for this new day and all the possibilities it holds. You're not just getting ready for your day, you're preparing to receive all the good that wants to come to you. The third practice could happen during your lunch break or in the middle of your workday, whenever you need a moment to reconnect with abundance consciousness. This might be when resistance or old patterns try to creep back in, when the stress of daily life threatens to pull you back into scarcity thinking. Take a few deep breaths, center yourself, and speak your affirmation with renewed intention. You're reminding yourself who you really are and what you're available to receive. Your fourth practice of the day should happen in the evening, preferably before sleep. This is when you're reviewing your day and setting intentions for your subconscious mind to work with while you rest. Speak your affirmation with gratitude for the abundance that showed up during the day, even if it was just small signs and synchronicities. End with appreciation for your commitment to this practice and excitement for what tomorrow might bring. But your ritual isn't just about the timing, It's about creating an energetic container for transformation. You might want to light a candle during your practice or hold a beautiful stone that represents abundance to you. Some people like to have a special journal where they write their affirmation along with any insights or manifestations they notice. Others prefer to play soft music that helps them feel open and receptive. The key is to engage your senses and emotions, not just your mind. Touch something beautiful while you speak your affirmation. Smell something pleasant, maybe essential oils or fresh flowers. See something that represents abundance to you, perhaps a photo of your dreams or a vision board. When multiple senses are engaged, the experience becomes more real to your subconscious mind, and the new programming takes hold more quickly. Pay attention to how you feel as you practice. If you notice resistance or discomfort, don't judge it. Just breathe through it with compassion. Sometimes old patterns need to surface so they can be released. If you feel joy or excitement, lean into those feelings. They're signs that your energy is shifting and new possibilities are opening up. Keep track of your practice in whatever way feels good to you. Some people like to mark off days on a calendar, celebrating their consistency. Others prefer to journal about their experience, noting any changes in their energy, opportunities that arise, or money that flows in unexpectedly. This isn't about being rigid or obsessive. It's about staying conscious and appreciative of the process. What's beautiful about this practice is that as it becomes more natural, you'll find yourself thinking abundance thoughts throughout the day, not just during your formal practice times. You'll catch yourself noticing opportunities you might have missed before. You'll feel more confident about financial decisions. You'll start to naturally expect good things to happen, and that expectation becomes a magnet for more abundance. This daily ritual is also preparation for recognizing and receiving abundance when it shows up. So often, people pray for abundance, but then don't notice it when it arrives because they're still focused on lack. Your practice trains you to see with abundance eyes, to recognize the flow that's always happening around you. One of the most profound shifts that happens as you deepen this practice is moving from a consciousness of lack to a consciousness of flow. Lack consciousness is based on the belief that there's not enough money, not enough opportunities, not enough time, not enough love. It creates a feeling of desperation and grasping that actually pushes abundance away. Flow consciousness, on the other hand, recognizes that abundance is the natural state of the universe and that we can align ourselves with that flow. When you're in lack consciousness, you tend to see evidence of scarcity everywhere. You notice what you don't have, what you can't afford, what other people have that you want. You feel separate from abundance, like it's something that happens to other people but not to you. This creates a vibration of need and desperation that makes it difficult for good things to flow toward you. Flow consciousness feels completely different. Instead of focusing on what's missing, you begin to notice what's present. You see abundance everywhere, in nature, in the generosity of others, in the opportunities that surround you. You feel connected to the source of all good things, knowing that you're part of an abundant universe that wants to support you. This creates a vibration of trust and receptivity that naturally attracts more abundance. The shift happens gradually as you practice your daily affirmations and begin to retrain your mind. You start noticing money and opportunities you previously overlooked. Maybe you find change in your coat pocket, receive an unexpected refund, or discover a service you've been paying for that you no longer need. These might seem like small things, but they're actually evidence that abundance is flowing and that you're becoming more aware of it. You begin to appreciate the abundance that's already in your life. The roof over your head, the food in your kitchen, the clothes in your closet, the technology that connects you to others, the transportation that gets you where you need to go. When you acknowledge the abundance you already have, You create space for more to flow in. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to shift from lack to flow. As your consciousness shifts, you also become more aware of the natural cycles of abundance. Just as nature has seasons of planting, growing, harvesting, and rest, your financial life has natural rhythms too. There are times of receiving, times of building, times of sharing, and times of reflection. When you're in flow consciousness, you can work with these cycles instead of fighting against them. You start to trust that even when money feels tight or opportunities seem scarce, this is just a temporary season, not a permanent condition. You learn to plant seeds during the quiet times and prepare to receive during the abundant times. You understand that sometimes the universe is reorganizing things behind the scenes to bring you something even better than what you were originally asking for. Flow consciousness also means releasing the need to control exactly how abundance comes to you. Instead of insisting that money has to come from your job in a specific amount on a certain date, you become open to receiving from multiple sources in ways you might not have expected. Maybe you receive a gift, win a contest, get a refund, find money, receive an unexpected opportunity, or discover a new source of income. This openness is crucial because the universe is infinitely creative in how it delivers abundance. When you're too attached to specific outcomes or methods, you might miss the gifts that are trying to reach you through other channels. But when you're in flow consciousness, you're alert and receptive to all the ways abundance wants to express itself in your life. You also begin to understand that giving and receiving are part of the same flow. When you give joyfully and generously, whether it's money, time, energy, or love, you're affirming your connection to abundance. You're saying that you trust there's enough and that more is always coming. This generous spirit actually accelerates the flow of abundance back to you, often in unexpected ways. The beautiful thing about flow consciousness is that it extends beyond just money. You start noticing that love flows more easily, opportunities appear more frequently, help arrives when you need it, and life feels more synchronistic and supportive. You're no longer swimming against the current of life. You're moving with it, allowing it to carry you toward your highest good. While affirmations and consciousness work are powerful, they work best when combined with inspired action. This doesn't mean forcing or struggling or trying to make things happen through sheer willpower. Inspired action feels different. It's action that comes from intuition, excitement, and inner guidance rather than from fear or desperation. When you're consistently doing your abundance work, you'll start receiving inner promptings about steps to take. Maybe you'll feel drawn to update your resume, research a new investment, take a class that could lead to better opportunities, or reach out to someone who might be helpful. These impulses often come quietly as gentle nudges rather than dramatic revelations. The key is learning to distinguish between inspired action and fear-based action. Fear-based action feels urgent, desperate, and often involves trying to control outcomes. It comes from a place of, I have to do this or something bad will happen. Inspired action feels more peaceful and exciting. It comes from a place of, this feels right, and I'm curious to see what happens. Sometimes inspired action involves saying yes to opportunities that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. Maybe someone offers you a project that pays more than you usually charge, or you have a chance to invest in something that feels scary but exciting. Your old programming might tell you to play it safe, but your abundance consciousness recognizes that growth often requires stepping into new territory. Other times, inspired action means saying no to things that don't align with your highest good, even if they seem like they should be good for you financially. Maybe a job opportunity pays well but doesn't feel right, or someone wants to involve you in a business venture that creates stress rather than joy. Trusting your inner guidance about what to pursue and what to pass on is crucial for sustainable abundance. Inspired action also includes practical steps like managing your money consciously, educating yourself about finances, and creating systems that support your abundance goals. This might mean setting up automatic savings, learning about investments, organizing your financial records, or working with professionals who can help you make wise decisions. But even these practical steps feel different when they come from abundance consciousness rather than fear consciousness. Instead of managing money because you're afraid of running out, you're stewarding it because you're grateful for what you have and want to help it grow. Instead of learning about investments because you're anxious about the future, you're educating yourself because you're excited about creating more abundance. One of the most important forms of inspired action is learning to receive gracefully. Many people are much better at giving than receiving, which creates an imbalance that can block abundance. When someone offers to help you, pay for your meal, or give you a gift, practice saying thank you instead of immediately trying to give something back or explaining why you don't deserve it. Receiving practice extends to noticing and acknowledging all the ways abundance shows up, even in small forms. When you find a good parking space, when someone smiles at you, when you catch a beautiful sunset, when a song comes on the radio that lifts your spirits, these are all forms of abundance. The more you notice and appreciate these gifts, the more you train yourself to be a good receiver of larger abundances. Taking inspired action also means surrounding yourself with people and influences that support your abundance journey. This might mean spending less time with people who constantly complain about money or who judge others for being successful. It might mean reading books, listening to podcasts, or watching videos that inspire and educate you about prosperity. Your environment and relationships significantly influence your consciousness, so choose them consciously. Sometimes the most important action is rest and reflection. Our culture often promotes constant doing and achieving, but abundance sometimes requires us to slow down, listen within, and allow space for new insights and opportunities to emerge. There's great wisdom in knowing when to act and when to simply be present and receptive. As we come to the close of our time together, I want you to know how proud I am of you for being here, for being open to new possibilities, for choosing to believe that your life can be different. This moment right now is the beginning of a new chapter in your relationship with abundance, and that's something truly worth celebrating. What you've learned today isn't just information, it's transformation waiting to happen. You now have the tools to shift your consciousness from lack to flow, from fear to love, from struggling to allowing. The affirmation I've shared with you, money flows to me easily and joyfully, and I welcome all good into my life now, is like a key that can unlock doors you didn't even know existed. But a key only works when you use it, so your commitment to daily practice is what will create the changes you're seeking. Your worthiness of abundance isn't something you need to earn or prove. It's already yours by virtue of being alive, by being part of this generous universe that wants to support and nurture you. Every time you speak your affirmation with love and intention, you're not trying to convince the universe to give you something. You're remembering what's already true about your nature and your birthright. The blocks and limitations you've carried aren't your enemy. They've been trying to protect you based on old information. As you gently release these patterns with love and patience, you're not losing anything valuable. You're simply making space for the abundance that's been waiting for you all along. Trust the process, trust your inner wisdom, and trust that life wants to support your highest good. The ritual we've created together is more than just a practice. It's a daily return to your true self, the self that knows no separation from abundance. As you continue this practice, you'll find that it becomes less about doing something to get something and more about remembering who you really are. And from that place of remembering, abundance flows naturally. Take the insights you've gained today and let them settle into your heart like seeds in fertile soil. Water them with daily practice, tend them with patience and love, and trust that growth is happening even when you can't see it yet. Some changes will be immediate, shifts in your energy, new awareness, different responses to financial situations. Other changes will unfold over time as your new consciousness creates new experiences. Most importantly, be gentle with yourself on this journey. There will be days when the old patterns feel strong, when doubt creeps in, when the practice feels difficult. This is normal and temporary. Meet these moments with compassion rather than judgment. Every time you choose love over fear, every time you choose abundance consciousness over lack consciousness, you're rewiring your entire being for prosperity. You have everything within you right now to create the abundant life you desire. You don't need to wait for anything external to change. You don't need permission from anyone else. You don't need to become someone different than who you are. You simply need to remember your true nature and align your daily choices with that truth. The universe is abundant, life is abundant, and you are an expression of that abundance. As you speak your affirmation 4 times each day, as you tend your worthiness like a sacred garden, as you take inspired action from a place of trust and joy, you're not just changing your bank account, you're transforming your entire experience of being alive. I believe in you completely. I believe in your ability to create prosperity, to heal old patterns, to step into the abundance that's waiting for you. Most importantly, I want you to believe in yourself. You are worthy, you are loved, and you are absolutely capable of living the abundant life of your dreams. The flow starts now, in this moment, with your willingness to receive all the good that life has to offer. Go forward with confidence, dear one. Your abundance journey has begun, and the universe is celebrating with you every step of the way.